Hello from Emma at Cognected. I'm going to teach you a little bit about what CBT is in a nutshell. Cognitive behavioural therapy, or CBT for short, is a very practical type of psychological therapy. It can be helpful for lots of different people, for lots of different symptoms. Namely, there's strong evidence base that it's effective for depression and anxiety. But in my own experience, I feel lots of the CBT skills that I teach in therapy sessions can be helpful for anyone, regardless of what symptoms you're experiencing. Lots of them are more like life skills to help with everyday life. So what is CBT? So in a nutshell, it's a here and now therapy. It's looking at what is going on right now that's causing you difficulties. It is focused on practical skills, so it gives you a mind toolbox for your mind that gives you lots of skills you can use and pull out in different situations that hopefully makes life a bit easier for you. It's about increasing your awareness about what's going on, and the more aware we are of our problems, the more likely we are to be able to problem solve them. As I said, there's a strong evidence base to show it is effective for lots of different things, but admittedly, one size doesn't fit all, so there's lots of other therapies if CBT doesn't work for yourself. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's one of my favourite things to say in therapy, as cheesy as it sounds. I've been learning about CBT and I'm a cognitive behavioural therapist, but you are an expert in your own experiences, and together we collaborate to make sure we have personalised therapy that works for you. And the idea is that when we get to the end of therapy, you feel confident that you can be your own therapist, that you've got this mental toolbox that you can pull out at any point that you feel you need a bit more help. So that's what CBT is in a nutshell. So let me just give you an example of something we might do in one of the initial therapy sessions. So with clients, we will draw out something called a hot cross bun, which is basically a nice big circle with a cross in the middle. And we ask a client to think about a recent situation that they found particularly difficult, or that they felt particularly down or anxious in. So number one is the situation. Make sure I spelled that right. And then there's 4 other areas that we will be curious about to understand what's maintaining your current problems. So thinking about what cognitive behavioural therapy stands for. Cognitive is, for me, a posh word for the mind, anything going through the mind. So in one box we have the word thoughts, or you could put mind in there. Thoughts. And within that box there might be images, it could be memories from the past, and it could just be a collection of words or a collection of thoughts that you're having in the situation that's causing you problems. The next one is emotions or feelings, which is normally something that you can say in one word. I'm feeling sad, depressed, angry, anxious, happy, any one label emotion. The next thing is physical. So what do you notice in your body when you're feeling a certain way? Anything physiological. So I'll come back to that in a minute. And the last one is behaviour or actions. Things you are doing or not doing, depending on how you're feeling. So what we think and what we do affects how we feel, and how we feel affects what we think and what we do. So we can't just turn off emotions. It's not like a tap. So when people say, oh, smile or snap out of it, if we could flick off a difficult emotion like that, I'm sure a lot of you would choose that option, but it's just not possible. We're human beings that are far more complex. However, there are other things that we can change in our situations. So let's just have a think about this one. So if we think about somebody who is getting out of bed, so they wake up in bed, for example, wake up in bed, and their emotion, the feeling that they have is that they're feeling sad, they are feeling perhaps a bit angry as well with themselves for some reason. If you've ever woken up in bed in the morning and you're feeling a bit sad and you're feeling perhaps a bit irritable, a bit angry, what kind of things do you think might run through your mind about yourself or the day? So for this particular client, their thoughts were, I am useless. So a really negative thought about self, I am useless. lots of people that I've worked with have the question, what's the point? Well, what's the point in getting out of bed? What's the point in living? What's the point in continuing? There's a real question sometimes about purpose in the day or within themselves. Another thought that this person had was, I am not good enough. So another negative thought about self, and a thought around it's going to be one of those days. So that's what we call, it could come under fortune telling. So you're predicting the future, you're predicting what type of day you're going to have, or it might be something called overgeneralization, where we might have had a bad day or a bad moment, and then we extend it to be the whole day is going to be bad. So that's different thinking styles. And I will do a video on thinking traps that helps you to start thinking about, when you're noticing what's running through your mind, what type of thinking habit am I adopting there? So they've got lots of these thoughts going through their mind. So if you imagine your mind is a bit like a TV screen, and your headlines for the day as you're waking up in bed feeling sad and a bit angry is, I am useless, what's the point in getting up anyway, today is going to be one of those bad days, and I'm not good enough in anything that I do. How do you think that might affect your body physically if you were having all those types of thoughts and feeling sad and feeling angry? Well, for this particular person, they felt tired. I probably should have added in emotions and feelings. They felt demotivated as well. So feeling tired, and their body feeling quite heavy. So feeling like everything feels a lot of effort, and their body's really heavy. And then behaviours. Again, put yourself in the shoes of this client. What do you think you'd be doing or not doing if you're having all these things going on at the moment? Well, the biggest symptom with depression for changes in behaviour is withdrawal. So deciding to retreat away from people. So certainly if I've ever had these types of thoughts, I tend to convince myself it's a duvet kind of day. I'm just going to put the duvet over my head and not face the world, because why would I want to face the world? I can't see it being a good day. I'm not a good person. I'm failing at everything. What's the point in getting up? So we tend to retreat and isolate. And we might withdraw from activities. So things like daily chores we might not do, feel like cooking or washing up or doing usual things. And we also withdraw from people. That's quite a key one. So if I'm having thoughts that I'm not good enough, perhaps I'm not good enough as a friend, or that people don't like me because of how I'm feeling, I might not text or reach out to friends because I believe the thoughts that I'm having. And in doing that, I'm remaining isolated. So this hot cross bun is really helpful in getting us to think about what's keeping the problems going, because what we think affects how we feel. We think we are rubbish, so we're going to feel rubbish. How we feel affects our feelings, affects our actual physical bodies, so we're feeling tired and heavy and exhausted. And then that impacts on what we do or don't do in terms of our behaviours. And then because we're not seeing people and we're not increasing the opportunity to uplift our feelings or change or challenge some things happening in here, it actually keeps the vicious cycle going. So cognitive behavioural therapy is being really curious about what's going on in the here and now for you that's keeping you feeling a certain way, or what can we do differently if we know that this is what's happening? What things can we change in the cycle? So as I said right at the beginning, we can't just change our feelings. I can't just say, well, don't feel sad, don't feel angry when someone says, oh, calm down, don't do that. That never tends to really work. But what we do have some control over, or things we can certainly learn some skills to try and change in this cycle, is our thoughts, in terms of being able to distance away from the thoughts and check whether they're actually factually accurate, whether they're true, whether we need to be so absorbed by them. And we can have a look at doing things differently in terms of our behaviours as well. So perhaps rather than withdrawing from people, we might fact check our thoughts and actually look to be more active or more socially included. And physically, we might be able to do something there around helping our physical bodies. So as I say, cognitive behavioural therapy is all about practical skills. This is just a quick hot cross bun to show you about how you might be able to start mapping out some of your difficulties. And in the next videos, I'm going to be doing something called activity scheduling, which is particularly helpful for if you're feeling quite down and demotivated and you're noticing that you're not doing a lot, you don't feel very productive and you're withdrawing. And I'm also going to do another video around thought traps. So looking at what's going through your mind that might be keeping you feeling a certain way. So I hope that you find this video helpful, and if you wanted to do your own hot cross bun about a recent situation in the last couple of weeks that you've noticed you felt particularly down or anxious about, then have a go and see what's going on in your cycle, and use the other videos that I'll put up to see whether some skills can actually help break your vicious cycles as well. Lovely, thank you.